Salutations and praise the table. It's another mock review for your viewing pleasure. Today we have Officer Quill. Now, Officer Quill, this is a mock that was mainly inspired by me wanting to make something that had wheels instead of feet. That was the entire inspiration. Everything else sort of just came off of that. In fact, I think I might have had the wheel feet done before anything else. So that's a little bit of insight for you. Now, a little bit of story / lore-wise, Officer Quill is a government-owned Hero Factory robot, and not owned, in fact, by the Hero Factory. So it is a legitimate police officer, not just some law-enforcing vigilante corporate puppet sort of thing. So, a legitimate police officer, and because of its speed capabilities, she's usually out giving traffic tickets and whatnot. And so, this would actually mark my first legitimate Hero Factory mock, if you don't count Raptor Talon, because you really shouldn't, because he's not my mock. But anyways, without any more of that ado stuff, let's get down to these plastic shins and get right into it. So, the main part of this mock, definitely, we got these wheel pieces that are actually really old. They're not the same on both sides. This side actually has a little bit of a imprint. Now, geez, you're probably hearing some sort of vacuum going on upstairs. My apologies. So yeah, this wheel foot thing, it kind of looks like a foot anyway. This thing can pose. Not sure if that has any sort of purpose, because I sure haven't thought of one. Because before I added these things, which are pretty new, in typical Inari fashion, I have updated it a fair bit since I first showed it off. And I would apologize for that, but I don't care. So, yeah, that's a thing. So these wheels, they can spin, you know. They don't spin very fast because they're actually kind of squished between these Technic discs here, and that keeps her from like falling over and such. So that's a thing. These things here were actually metal blue. I painted them white because they didn't go with the rest of the mock. And I wasn't going to use them on Nayun, so I had no other use for them, so that's a thing. So, getting on to this leg armor here, it's pretty new. It used to be just a couple of bricks, and that was certainly a thing. Gee willikers, that vacuum is loud. I chose a bad time to do this, but if you know anything about me, I like to do these in one take, so I don't think I'm gonna stop. So nothing too fancy here. You can see the knee armor just held on by a rod, and then this is held on by a Glatorian neck. And that is the extent of it. So that's cool. And then we can see on the back, oh, that's a little bit embarrassing, that Technic disc still has a sticker on it. And we can see these lift arms on the back just filling up the sort of empty leg thing. So let's, oh yeah, because she has wheels for feet, we need a stand. And that's a little bit unfortunate, so it usually hides underneath one of the legs in certain pictures, so it's not too conspicuous. It's not too conspicuous. And then it sort of just terminates up here in the butt. So that's that. So let's move on up to past these Paraka leg pieces to what is probably the only custom limb on the mock, if you don't count feet as a limb, because you shouldn't. We got this. And all the armor is just connected by this little rod. And yeah, you can see I painted this Hero Factory armor. It used to be, you know, Galley's Dark Azure, but there were literally 5 pieces made in that color, and I don't think I could have really, you know, made anything of it if it wasn't Galley. And whatever I did make with it would have essentially been Galley. So I painted them dark blue so they'd be a little more useful. And that is that. On the back here we can see a little bit of a Nika armor. Nothing too fancy. And then on the butt we have these flappy things that come from the newest Kopaka. These 2008 jet booster things are a new addition, and they make it look a lot cooler, and like it has a reason for being there. So that's certainly a thing. Moving on up, we can see, let's look at the pelvis real quick. We can see these claw pieces are typically where the tires would be, sort of, you know, on the hips, where it's always good to cover up Hero Factory, you know, like right here, Hero Factory joints, you cover them up with tires and it just makes them look a lot better. And so the claws have the same effect here, and so that's cool. We can see where the claws connect up here using certain bricks, and those are just connected straight into a pinhole because they can do that. Heresy 101. So we can get into probably the most heretical thing about this mock, well, besides the mask, but people paint masks all the time. This chest plate here. It used to be gunmetal, but I painted the whole thing blue and then painted that white because it looks good, and I don't think I would be really using it in gunmetal. I do have another mock that is like gunmetal is his main color, and he doesn't even use this, so I think it's safe for me to paint this, so that's pretty cool. While that is off, let's check out the innards real quick. So this, it's a little bit floppy, but it generally stays. This little assemblage here. And all of this is meant to hold these little exhaust ports. They look really cool. They make her look more like the semi-vehicle that she is. And, oh yeah, speaking of semi-vehicle, there was one person who commented saying, looks like a bioformer. I wish this was a bioformer. It would be so much cooler if it was. But yeah, sadly it's not. I should try to make one of those. That would be really, really awesome. Oh yeah, for the back armor we just have this straight up Hero Factory 2.0 basic standard coverage. And that is all we have to say about that. And, you know, just base underneath Hero Factory 2.0 bone. So, a little something else that's new is these little police light things. A few comments on the slideshow saying, you know, it didn't really look like a police officer, and honestly it didn't, because it wasn't really a police officer until I had already uploaded all the pictures to Flickr and some such, and I had to decide what its name was, and I decided, you know, that kind of looks like a police officer with the blue and white, and so I decided to take it even further with these things, and so they look pretty good. They don't actually go quite as well with the eye color, but those Gen 2 heads being as they are, you can't really see the eyes too well unless, like, the mask is transparent, in which case you can see the eye color pretty well. So, arms, nothing to say about them, really. They're just standard Hero Factory arms. Oh yeah, before I forget, bendage. 90 degrees, that's it. Any more and this little armor piece would pop off, so that's it. So let's, this mask here. I decided, since I was gonna paint this mask dark blue, I might as well paint it a little more, go over and, go above and beyond the extra mile. And so, yeah, just painted the layer the goggles are on, painted all that white. And that is pretty much all I did. And so you've got a pretty good view of that. Now, oh, this tire around the neck is getting a little crooked. Sad face. So let's put that back on. Now Quill here does have a weapon. It's actually, I made sure to make it a pretty standard looking Hero Factory gun, just to help the, first of all, it looks really cool, and second of all, just to help the recognition factor, saying, hey, that looks like a Hero Factory bot. So yeah, can hold it with one hand, can hold it with two hands. It's preferable to hold it with two hands because we don't have a weapon in the second hand, or anything really. There were those swords made of, what's her bucket? That one, Makuta from 2008. Those wings swords things, I decided they didn't look as well on her, and there was another mock who would appreciate them much better. So, we have this instead. And, so that is about it as far as Quill is concerned. There's nothing much else to her. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up. See you next time.